Hello, fellow traders. Welcome to this video today. For those who are watching me for the first time, my name is Anthony. I do the top-down analysis on every Sundays, and some days I come on Wednesday to give you the update of what I'm currently watching on the market. So let me first of all take this opportunity to apologize for not making it to upload a video on Sunday. I was not feeling quite well, but I thank God I'm good for now. So looking at the chart, I know you are not used for us starting the analysis on BTC. This is because I don't like what is happening on the Euro USD and GBP USD. For those who are in my Telegram channel, I still updated there, and I said that currently I don't like the price action that we are having on GBP USD and the Euro USD. So I was still waiting to see whether we get something good by this Wednesday. So allow me today to start my analysis from with the BTC USD. Here we are on a daily time frame. Just for a quick view, let's start from the monthly time frame. So what do we see here from the monthly time frame? We can see very clearly that this was the last bullish break of structure, the upside, which led to a change of character to the downside. So ideally, what do we expect? We expect the market to retrace at least to the 50% of this dealing range. If you pick your Fibonacci, less from the swing high all the way to the swing low, you can see this is where we have the 50%. So we expect the retracement towards this area before we continue selling to the downside. All right. So having that in mind, now we go to the weekly time frame, which is where it is very visible uh, to us. So we had this bullish break of structure, and then we have this current change of character to the downside. So what do we do now?
So we do the same thing. So if you pick a Fibonacci place from this high to this low, you have seen. Now, let's do that. We place from the high all the way to the low. You can see the 50% is around this area, right? But now, if the weekly swing wants to come for a pullback, then the daily swing has to shift direction. We remember that. So now, looking at the internal structure of this swing, because now this is our protected high and this is our targeted low. All right, but now we have an internal structure of this swing, which is we have this internal change of character here, we have this break of structure from the weekly time frame. Although now, for those who are following me, you know the rules that we use to identify a valid pullback. This is also a valid pullback. So this is the internal structure of this time frame. So that means what? This internal structure that we are seeing here, when you go down to the daily, it becomes a swing, right? So this is a swing of the daily time frame. So I believe if the weekly wants to come for a pullback, then the daily swing has to shift direction. We should see the market changing from bearish to bullish. But do we still have that? No, we don't have that one as at now. So what do? We focus on this daily structure. All right. Currently, the market is in a bullish trend. Why is it market bullish? Is to fulfill the objective of the higher time frame. All right. So let's go to the daily time frame. So if you look at the daily time frame, these are my 2 points of interest. We have this decisional point of interest here, and then we have this extreme point of interest around this area. So currently, I'm watching out for this point of interest because the market is far away from this one, right? So that one being said, now that I know this is the target for the market, I'm going now to focus on this internal structure because this is what currently it's happening. So what do? We go to the recent formed leg, and this is our current break of structure. So within this break of structure, what am I looking for? I repeat the same procedure, my people. Place the fib from high to the low. So what do I expect? I expect the market to retrace at least to the 50%. And then we start looking for buying opportunities. So within the discount now, what do we having? We having this very nice massive fair value gap here. So this is where I'm anticipating for the BTC to come for me to start looking for a buying opportunities from this area because we have a very big fair value gap here that needs to be filled before we continue. But currently, the market is reacting from this fair value gap here. The market is reacting from this fair value gap here. So, and it's giving a good reaction from that area. So, if we go down to the lower time frame, maybe from the 1 hour time frame, what do we see? From the 1 hour time frame, we saw a fractal change of character. So, we had a fractal change of character around this area. All right. Let me go to the fifth, that was 4 hour. Let me go to 1 hour. So from 1 hour, we can see very clearly we had a very nice internal change of character here from 1 hour, which is a very strong change of character. Why am I saying it's a very strong change of character? Because you can see we had a small pullback here, push, market cleared the buy side liquidity before coming to sweep the sell side liquidity. So we have the liquidity being swept down here before giving us this internal break of structure. So now we expected the market to come and respect this zone and continue buying, but unfortunately, market gave us a market structure shift. So we have a change of character to the downside, right? So what did the market do? So initially, I had marked this point of interest here. This is where I wanted to sell from, all right? So market came to that zone, but never gave me a confirmation to enter. So later on, market came to this extreme point of interest, and that is where this pair reacted from. So I can remove this one. So the market reacted from this extreme POI. And what are we having? As always, guys, we wait for confirmation. So this was our last bullish break of structure. Was it a strong break of structure? Yes, because definitely we see swept this liquidity first. We have a sweep of liquidity before giving us a break of structure. And currently, we have a change of character. Very good. So we have a change of character to the downside. So meaning now this high here is our protected high. So this is our protected high. So what do we expect? We expect now to look for selling opportunities around these areas. So where are we supposed to look for selling opportunity? For me, I will mark this candle here before this fair value gap, and that becomes a point of interest. So if you trade BTC, you should be looking for selling opportunities around this area, because always, guys, always wait for confirmations. All right, so you should be looking for selling opportunities around that area. Let me show you that. Should be looking for selling opportunities on BTC, but also don't forget this is a very risky trade because this is a counter trade, guys. And remember, market is reacting from this daily fair value gap. So maybe this was just to grab this liquidity and then you continue buying. So that is why I'm telling you to wait for a very good reaction from this area before you enter. Once you have your confirmation, then you can target these lows as liquidity there. So guys, that is it on BTC. That is what I'm watching on BTC. So you might tell me on the comment section, what do you think about this setup? So the next pair is NAS100. So I had a setup here on NAS100, but unfortunately it seems like market is not coming back. But if the setup is still valid until we break this high, all right? Because if we break this high, that means we'll have a new dealing range. So as always, my analysis comes from the higher time frame. All right, from the higher time frame, you can see very clearly that the NAS 100 is very bullish. So the market is making series of higher highs and higher lows. So I was just trying to capitalize on this bullish movement. So when you go to the 4 hour, you can see very clearly that this pair has been so strong. It is very bullish, and you can see the market has not been giving very deeper retracement. So after we have the break of structure, we have been seeing shallow retracement and then push to the upside. So my setup, I got it from the 1 hour time frame, because as always I need to see a low or a high that has swept liquidity before I mark a valid break of structure. Right? You see the internal liquidity being swept, then I push to break the high. So what was my point of interest? This order block here. So I wanted to enter from there, but unfortunately, market left me, never gave me that entry. So before we break this high, so this one still remains to be a valid point of interest. If by any chance market pushes high and break that high, then we'll have to move our entry from that area to this demand zone that is around there. So that is it on NAS 100. For those who trade NAS, you can, if the market will come back to that area, look for your buying opportunities. If by any means market breaks this high, you can also wait for a pullback for you to look for entries around these areas. So the next pair that I'm watching is the USDCHF. Let me start from the higher time frame. Okay, all right. Let me go to the daily first. To the weekly, sorry. If you look closely from the weekly time frame, the market is really bearish, right? You can see the market is making series of higher highs and higher lows. So don't forget and don't mind about this. Or this is the analysis that we are doing with the one of my students. Actually, if you want to learn more on this one, how to do the top-down analysis ones in one with me, I have a private mentorship. You can find the link on the description of this video to my WhatsApp, and you can talk on how you can start. And also the charges and everything is will be posted on that description. All right. That one being said, you can see very clearly that USDCHF is very bearish, right? So, and also if you don't know how to identify between a fake BOS and a valid BOS, still find a video onto my channel. I have a video that is explaining very well how to differentiate between a valid BOS and a fake BOS. So make sure to watch that and also you learn from it. So, looking at what was happening here, I can see very clearly I have this fake BOS around this area, right? But my analysis was coming from, I think, 4 hour time frame, coming from 4 hour time frame, because we saw the market reacted from this order block around this area or this supply zone. And what are we seeing? We can see very clearly that this was the last strong internal break of structure, which led to this internal change of character. Okay, so we have that internal change of character. So what happened? Market came for a pullback and they reacted from this structure here. We had a 1 hour point of interest around this area. So market reacted from there and we saw down to give us a break of structure. So we have another break of structure here. So what do we expect? As usual, we expect the market to come to the discount and then we take our sell from there. So, and I think I marked this order block from daily. If you look at daily time frame, we have a very good order block there. You can see also we have this valid break of structure because we saved this internal liquidity before pushing to give us this break. So this I here becomes my minor inducement. So I'm expecting the market to come and sweep this liquidity. And then from there, after we sweep that liquidity, I'll start looking for my selling opportunities around that area because we have a very big fair value gap and a very good order block, daily order block that is resting on the premium. So yesterday we were I say is it yesterday or on Monday I shared this setup here because I knew very well if the monthly time if the daily wants to come for a pullback, then the 4 hour swing has to change direction, right? Then I was looking because now at this moment I saw we have this break of structure here. It was a very strong break of structure because you can see it swept this internal liquidity. So I told my Telegram people that if you have to look for any selling opportunities around this area, you have to wait for a good 15 minutes change of character, right? Because one, the market has taken out the external structure. So anything can happen. Market can decide to come, violate this zone, and then we start the daily pullback. And that is exactly what happened. Market came, gave small reaction, but eventually broke to the upside. So after breaking now, we have a change of character. So if you want to look for these counter trends, then this is where you should be waiting for a market to come to, because as usual, if you place from the high, Fibonacci from the high to the low, you can see very clearly this is where we have the 50% and this is where we have our demand zone, where we are supposed to look for your entries. So when you go to the 1 hour time frame, you can still refine, but for me, I will go with the 4 hour zone. So here I have my liquidity. So if the market will be coming to this zone, then I look for my buying opportunities. Then I target this minor inducement. All right. So if, for instance, market never comes to this zone and continues buying, then this is where I will be looking to sell from. So that is it on USD JPY, and I think we have gold. So what are we having on gold? Let me start from the 4 hour. So gold from the 4 hour. This was the last break of structure which led to this change of character. So what we do? We mark our swing high and our swing low. Okay. So after doing that, we need to mark our point of interest. Where do we expect the market to retrace to for you to look for sales? Because can see that we had this internal change of character here. So we should be looking for selling opportunities. So I pick my fib, place from the high to the low. You can see already the market had already retraced to the premium. So now if we get a selling signal around this area, then we should be looking for that selling opportunities. So for me, I had marked this extreme point of interest here. And you also have another order block there, but I would rather go with this one because this one I can see we have a fair value gap below this tiny order block that is sitting around that area. And I'm seeing something very interesting. The market came and swept this internal liquidity. Do you see the market had formed something of like trendline liquidity here? So market cleared all of that. If you extend this, you can see we had a sweep of all that liquidity. So now what do I expect? Because when I look at the 4 hour candle that is not giving me a structure. So we can see we had swept the sell side liquidity, market came to sweep the buy side liquidity, and we again sweeping the sell side liquidity. So what am I waiting for? I need gold to see a gold closing with a 4 hour candle here. All right. If we close with that 4 hour candle here, that will give me a confirmation that the market is respecting this external structure. And that will be my signal for me to start looking for selling opportunities. Where will I look to sell from? If assuming now the market will continue selling here and break this low with the 4 hour candle, this will be my order block or my supply zone where I will look for selling opportunities. And also this zone, because I can see very clearly, market swept this liquidity here before coming to sweep this liquidity and then gave us an internal change of character. So it means this area here, although the external is really bearish, but I expect to see reaction from this zone. So if the market will break this low and fail to retrace fast, then I will wait for a market to this area whereby I will look for buys to sell around this area. I hope you are getting right? If market comes to this zone before breaking this low, so that means it has violated this zone. So this zone will never be used again, right? But if the market now breaks this low before coming to this zone, that means this zone is still valid. Okay. If the market will break this low and continue coming to this zone, then I will be watching for buying opportunities around this area, targeting this area to sell from there. I hope you get that. All right, so thank you guys. That is it that I am having today. I don't have update on Euro USD and GBP USD, but in case I get a good structure, I will still make another video tomorrow and update you on that. So thank you for watching. Until next time, it's a bye bye for now.